everyone? Um, See if we can get some people on here. I gotta try and figure out how to get my comments to pop up on my computer here. So there we go. Pop up on my computer here. There. I don't think. Oh, we got one person. I can't see. Okay, I can see my comments now too. So we're good. We're ready to roll. David. Yeah, I'm trying out the live stream for the first time here. We'll see how it goes. I'm not very tech savvy, so I've always been nervous about doing one. So glad you're here, man. Christopher, how you doing? Just getting ready to hammer them again tomorrow. I know there's a lot of guys hammering stuff out today. We're gonna get pretty warm here, so it's go time. Coon are about as perfect as primeness as they're gonna be, so I'm gonna get out and hammer them. I got about 90 sets pre-staked for my Thanksgiving line here. That's gonna get set tomorrow, and I'm gonna add a bunch to it. So we'll be going pretty hard here. PC, how we doing? Johnny Ringo, you said you were looking forward to it. Here I am, buddy. David, I'm studying business management. Just trying to get a degree. I want to be a taxidermist when I'm out of school. So just trying to get my degree. Flintlock, thank you, man. I'm glad you like them. Jason from Washington. I have some family out in Washington, actually. I got a, what is she, 9 or 10-year-old cousin out there, and she wants to learn how to trap because I trap. So that's kind of cool. I gave her a little coon trapping demo a while ago when they were here. So that was kind of cool. But Chris running a mink line. There you go. I'm not a mink guy by any means, but love catching mink, that's for sure. DC Cheney, great season. Thank you. I plan on getting them rolling here again tomorrow. Mark, how you doing, buddy? Oh, PC, you caught your first fox, man. That's awesome. I got one the other day too. I get still excited as ever when I catch a fox. We don't catch many here, so I was definitely excited. But Mark, thank you, man. I'm doing what I can. David, I tried taking care of that. Basically, I got pulled out of the entire area because I had so much stuff in the area. I just didn't really do anything about it. And then once I got pulled out of the entire area, I called the CO and basically told him, like, hey, I'm out of this entire county now. So if you see anything from here, I'm running pogos and everything else. I just described my equipment. I told him, hey, if you see anything from here on out in this county, it's not me. So we'll see what happens with that. I doubt anything happens. Theft just happens. Got to get over it. But out of 370 traps, I only had like 30 stolen, so it's really not that bad. But now for a smaller guy that's only running 30 traps, I mean, that's their whole line. So it would really suck if that happened to someone that didn't have as many traps out as I did. But yeah, let's see where we're at. PC. Oh, same last name. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Really, Jason, that's what I thought. I had a feeling there was going to be some kind of rule like that for Seattle. I don't know. Just cool to see someone young like that interested in trapping. I know she watches my videos and told me she was gonna catch more raccoons than I do. So I hope she does. So far this season, PC, what are you talking about, buddy? Yeah, guys, I'm chomping at the bit. It's really bad. I'm ready to absolutely hammer it here tomorrow. So any fur put up, Mark? No. Everything's just going into the freezer, skinned for the most part. I did get a little bit behind on skinning, as you guys saw. I caught too many on opening day, so I got a little bit behind. I got some frozen on the carcass, but overall, everything just goes into the freezer until we're finishing fur. So mentioned a video or two ago you aren't old enough to carry a pistol. What's up with that? Montana can conceal carry. So Johnny, what it is in Iowa you have to be 21 to buy a handgun, and this might get banned for me even saying the G word. I don't know, but basically I'm not 21, and my parents aren't going to buy one for me because it's dangerous. I don't know, but I like carrying my air rifle anyways. A lot less red stuff, so keeps everything cleaner in the box. But bobcats and live oh, that's awesome. I would love to. I've caught one bobcat in my life and I had to let it go, and that really sucked. But Bill, do you sell your fur dried? I sell almost everything that I shouldn't say almost everything. Basically everything completely finished. I get some of my cooler stuff tanned, or like fox. I won't sell a fox for whatever they're gonna give me for it. I'll get it tanned and put it on the wall. Heck, I got one right here in my dorm room. So I won't sell a fox for what they're paying for them. I'll just keep them. But first full season, youngest official member. That's awesome, PC. Yes, Rich, we do have to tag our traps with our information. Basically, it's name and address. Not a rule I'm overly fond of, just because it just tells the thief whose trap they stole. Oh, and where you live, so where they can find more of them. But definitely not. I don't know. I mean, I get it, so the COs can identify who's trapping, but at the same time, it's giving your address and a source of more equipment to thieves that are stealing your stuff. So it's kind of a in the air topic, but hobbies hobo, yeah, man. I like taking care of the big boys. I'm hoping here it's gonna get kind of warmer, so I don't know how many of the really big ones will be running, but I'm sure we'll get some big ones. That one was either in my last video or my second to last video on that big line. I know one of them was just over 30 pounds, so he was a huge coon for around here. Montana's the best state in the union. Did you trap last year? If so, how many raccoons? So last year I trapped pretty hard. Last year I was just coming off of a knee injury from the year before. I blew out my ACL playing football. So it was kind of rough with the whole leg deal, but I ended up catching 608 coon and 108 beaver last year. So we're already over last year's total this year. So that's cool, but I have no knee problems at all this year, and we're running hard. So Travis. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate it. You don't got to apologize about being late, man. I've been trying to figure out the tech the whole time, so you didn't miss much. But Reef Robber, how you doing? Hey, I appreciate you being here, man. ITA is working to get just name on conservation. Mark, I haven't heard that, but I would really like that, honestly. I don't like giving my address to anyone hardly, let alone someone who's going to steal a trap. Their odds of them being a great person is pretty slim. So definitely don't like the idea of someone having 30 some of my traps with my name and address on it, but is what it is. Nothing you can do about it. So David, I appreciate it, man. I have no idea how to set that up. I'll have to talk to some people. I don't know. I'm not very tech savvy. Even though I'm a college kid, I'm very tech stupid. So Johnny, thank you, man. I get off school tomorrow is my last day of class, and I got until Sunday to trap however hard I want to. So we're planning on hitting it pretty hard. I got one Thanksgiving dinner to go to, and that's all I got to do other than trap the whole time. So we're going to hit it as hard as we can. Reef Robber, good, man. I didn't know you were doing a live now. I might have to get on there later if I'm not doing homework. I got quite a bit of homework I'm getting done here before break starts, so I don't have to worry about anything. But nice, David, nice. yeah, I don't know. It's killing me not trapping. I think today is my first day that I haven't either been skinning or trapping or anything like that. And I've been sitting in here watching YouTube videos all day long, and I'm so ready to go. I'm ready to go out there and start killing coon again. So, oh, Reef, nice, man, nice. I won't be on here too long anyway, so I'll probably try and hop on there later, buddy. Trapper Bob, how you doing? Yeah, we got. I'm hoping to get around. Well, I want to get over the 800 mark for sure over this Thanksgiving break here. Basically, gonna have about 4 or 5 really good checks I'm hoping for. So hopefully we can get over that 800, and depending on how far we get over that 800, it's. Oh no, Iowa Trappers in here. What's up, buddy? I'm figuring out the techie stuff. But what's the best tasting fur bearer? I don't know, David. I've heard a lot of good things about beaver, and being as I don't know it. You guys know this too if you've ever skinned a beaver, but the meat on it is so red. It's almost like hard to believe that it wouldn't be good because it just looks like good meat to eat. But click on names. Oh man, we're getting. Oh boy. Now I got to do moderators. We'll see if I can set this up here real quick, guys. I don't want any crazy people on here. Well, I mean, I'm on here, so there's at least one crazy person, but yeah, we're hoping to get home, get over that 800 just over Thanksgiving break here. I don't think it'll really be a problem, but I have noticed I've only done about 90 or so location or not location 90 or some traps pre-staked right now for this Thanksgiving line, so definitely behind on that, but I have a lot of energy and I'm going to try and just hammer out a bunch of stuff. I'm going to set everything tomorrow when I get home, all those 90, and then I'm going to keep going on the end of it. I got about, I don't know, 150 miles that I can trap if I want to over there, so we're going to run that as hard as I can. But barbecue beaver's pretty good. I can about imagine. I would love to try beaver. I just don't want to. Most of the beaver I catch are drowned. Oh, I should say almost all of them in springtime are drowned when I'm trying to hit beaver really hard. But I don't want to eat a beaver that's been floating in a creek dead here in Iowa with the amount of chemicals and stuff in the water. I just don't want to try eating one of them if they're drowned. If I caught a live one and could get it home and skinned and cut up and froze, I would definitely try that. But I don't want to try and eat one that's been drowned or whatever. So keep going the way you are. Oh, Mark, antis get after everyone. It doesn't matter if you catch 2,000 raccoons or two. They're everywhere. Nothing you can really do about them. Just say thanks for watching. That's my favorite one. But most college kids not spending their free time outdoors other than the time between dorms and bars. Good job. Rich, thank you. That's something I don't really talk about too much. A lot of kids my age. For one, there's a lot of kids my age anymore that go to school and don't have a job at all, but they'll tell me I'm dumb for trapping. Well, I might not make much money trapping, but I'm making more than you sitting there playing video games. So, I don't know. Is it worth my time? To me, yes, it is. But, and then the bars and stuff, once it's trapping season, there's no partying for me. I quit everything and just go trapping. I love trapping too much, so. I'm so pumped for this Thanksgiving line, guys. If I can get as far as I want to get, as far as setting stuff on this, it's gonna just be ridiculous. I know last year I had 4 checks on 180 traps and caught almost 200 coon on that. But we also had perfect weather last year, and it's also looking like we're gonna have the same weather this year. So hopefully I can add on to that just a little bit. But GC, just type a comment, or question in the comments, man. I'll answer it to the best I can. Don't know if you have any experience with wire stretchers. Half dozen Duke wire stretchers. Kyle, I shouldn't say I don't have experience with wire stretchers. I just don't like them. They're definitely faster, and more efficient as far as saving your time in the first shed. But to me, a wood board just makes it look so much prettier. And it's like my 220s. I like making my 220 sets look pretty. So I like putting them on wood. And I also believe you get more length on a wood board than you do on a wire board. And I also think the wood just makes them look fuller and prettier. So I prefer wood. No, not really any tips for wire. I don't feel that when I put a coon on, you can't keep them tight. Maybe the hook on there isn't latching right when you pull it down all the way. Something like that. Something slipping maybe. I don't know. All right, Reef Rower. I'll see you later. Amy? I don't. Skunk smell's always lurking around in trapping season. GC, you asked a question earlier? Hold on. I'll scroll up. I'm scrolling up. I don't see it, GC. Did you have any? I know YouTube can be pretty particular about using the abbreviation of raccoon. So if it included that, then they might have taken it down. I don't know, but that's what could have happened there. Iowa Trapper, I get the smell out of my clothes about as good as you do, man. Actually, probably better because I wasn't playing with skunks all day. But yeah, GC, I don't know what you asked, but clearly YouTube took it down. So try and shoot it over to me again here. See if it'll go through. Yeah, exactly. They won't allow stuff that has certain words in it. Even though to many it doesn't mean something, it might mean something to YouTube. So you just gotta be careful about it. Kicked out of class for smelling like a skunk. Oh, no. I should say no. I will say there have been people that live in the same building as me that aren't very happy with me sometimes, especially last year. This year I got a room to myself, which I call it my trapatorium. It's about all I do out of it. Map stuff out on my computer, break stuff down on how I want to trap stuff. That's about all I do in here. A little bit of homework, but yeah. This year I don't have to deal with it as much. Last year when I had a bunch of people living around me and with me, it was when I showed up during trapping season, they made me shower right away. So, and the one night I left my clothes in the bed of my truck outside. So, yeah, it's just the smell of skunk. Smell of skunk, smell of money. So, I love them. But where do you buy your traps through? I like to buy my traps at convention, David. Either at convention or through Funkies or somewhere like that. I know F&T always has really good sales on their traps at the national convention. That's where I bought a bunch last year. I got it at a really good discount right before prices on traps all made a jump, like $30 a dozen. So I got pretty lucky there. But yeah, I like to buy my stuff at convention if I can, just because you don't got to pay that shipping cost. Traps are heavy, shipping is expensive. So that's kind of just the way I do that. But don't have any freezers. How long will the carcass last? 35 to 42 degrees. GC, I would say, it depends on what kind of critter it is, I guess. Coyotes, they'll get a green belly pretty quick no matter what the temperature is, it seems like. But I would say a raccoon is probably going to last you 2 to 3, maybe 4. I don't think I'd go much longer than 4 days unless it gets below freezing. But yeah, you don't have to skin them right away with those temperatures. You got a couple days. Do you target or trap very many mink? Do you have any tips for trapping them? Kyle, I do not. Glad you like my channel, first of all. Second of all, I don't trap very many mink. I think I've caught maybe, I don't know, a dozen in my life, just raccoon trapping in pockets and stuff. But I don't really have any tips other than the biggest thing I hear about mink trapping is you want to use a big chunk of fish when it's cold out. So like, what is it the old timers say? It's like a fist-sized chunk of fish or better. So just, I don't know. I mean, from what I hear, a mink, really, I mean, light pan tension, big chunk of fish, some fish oil in a pocket or whatever. That's how I've caught them. So that's about the only advice I can give. I haven't caught very many. Yeah, Iowa Trapper said 4 to 5 days. Yep. Some people smell like skunk, but it's from what they're smoking. Yours is Rich. I actually had a deal last year. I brought a bunch of skunks down with me that I was going to sell, and they're on the carcass. And I had a bunch of guys at football practice talking about some guy's truck who just reeked of you know what, and everyone was talking about it, and they all came up. They're like, "Hey, don't you own that truck?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," and they're like, "Man, you need to get that under control." I'm like, "Well, it's skunks." They're like, "Skunks?" I'm like, "Yes, it is skunks. It is not what you guys think it is. It is skunks." So that got me a lot of interesting comments at practice there, but is what it is. GC, yeah, raccoons, they're gonna last a good amount there in weather like that. I'm gonna try, man. I get a month off for Christmas break, so I really hate raccoon trapping if we got a lot of snow. So I might put a damper on it just because to me, raccoon trapping in the snow is really dangerous. And I got a lot of ground I can coyote trap on if I want to, if I'm over my goal already. I got to break the goal first and foremost. But after that, if we get a bunch of snow and I'm on Christmas break, we might try to do some coyotes. I know I got some beaver lodges and stuff I'm going to be trapping. I got a couple ponds with muskrats in them that I'm probably going to be trapping, and I like doing that through the ice. So that's what we're going to be doing over Christmas break. But if it's 40 or 50 degrees, yeah, we're going to hammer coon. I got a pretty long line that I ran last year that paid off pretty good. So we'll see what the weather allows us to do. Issue with the pans on your TS-85's tilting. Yes and no. I had a problem with one of them. Something I had to slide the pan or something was loose on it and I tightened it up and it fixed it. But yeah, no, the TS-85 overall, I mean, I have 5 or 6 dozen of them now, and I absolutely love them. I just dyed a bunch of them actually for this year, but yeah, I love them. Perfect trap for beaver trapping in my opinion. I want to try the Duke 850, but it just seems so heavy, and carrying it, I connect my traps to my drowning rods on the road before I carry them down there, and I think that big heavy Duke 850 on the end of that would just be like a wrecking ball on the end of there more than an 85 would. But I don't know. I'll have to try it, but I love 85s. David, I honestly couldn't even tell you what size they are. 6x6 maybe, something like that. I only have a couple of them, so not a colony trapper by any means. Heck, you guys watched me catch my first muskrat in a colony trap here this year. So I've usually just been an old school 110 guy, but everyone talks about them, so I had to try them. But I think they're 6x6. One of them might be a 7x7. I don't think it's that big. 5x5 or 6x6, one of the two. But Iowa Trapper, thanks, buddy. I do what I can. Ruben, how you doing? Travis, as far as skinning knife goes, I actually get a lot of grief over this, but the knife I use for skinning is a $20 knife from Walmart. That's all I use. It's got a good blade on it, and to me, that's all that matters. It can skin. Usually, I can get about 8 or 10 coon before I even got to sharpen it again. So it works perfect for me. You get a razor sharp and start flying through them. And as far as the fleshing knife goes, I used the Necker for forever. I would highly recommend the Necker to anyone, but I just switched to the Caribou. And as far as doing, 40 or 50 coon at a time fleshing, that big weight difference really helps my arms out a lot, to be honest. I'm kind of being a weenie, but it helps my shoulders out a lot with getting tired. And I love that Caribou. It's so, I don't know what it weighs, but it literally feels like it weighs half of what the Necker does, which to each their own, use whatever you like to use, but I absolutely love that Necker now. Or not the Necker, the Caribou. So No Name, how you doing, man? I hope the weather stays decent as well. I'm sure you were out today getting them. I'm jealous. I wish I was out today too, but got to wrap up school here before Thanksgiving break, and then it'll be time to hit it. So, Krusty, how you doing, man? From Nevada. What are you guys trapping in Nevada? I'm kind of curious. They got coyotes and stuff out there, I'm sure. Walmart blasphemy. Yeah, I know. No one believes it, but I'll tell you this. That trusty knife that I got given to me at a Christmas like 8 years ago. And I learned how to skin my first raccoon with it. And that's all I've ever used to skin a raccoon. And I don't even know how many raccoons I've skinned with it. It's been quite a few. So it's a good knife. I love it. And for it being only a $20 Walmart knife, and that's all the money I have, I actually didn't even buy it. I got it for Christmas, but for it just being that, it's paid itself off time and time again. So Caribou is amazing. I agree. You actually got me hooked on that. Michigan Adventures Outdoors. What age did you start trapping? I don't even know what age it was. My dad taught me how to trap when I was like 6 or 8 years old. There's a picture of me leaning over his shoulder, and he was teaching me how to make a blind set, which is actually how I started out trapping, was just using 1.5 blind sets on dry ground. But I've progressed over to the dog proofs. It's just faster and efficient. But the second I'll tell you this. So the second I got my driver's license when I turned 16, that's when I decided to start going nuts over it. And I caught 131 raccoon my first year ever trapping, and we took that and just started running with it. And it went from there and progressively got bigger and bigger, and now here we are, already ahead of last year's total and in way too deep, but that's okay. Makes sense on the Caribou knife. Middle of the road is okay. Yeah, I really didn't want to switch to the Caribou just because I'd done so many with the Necker. But once I finally just did with it and bought one and started using it, I absolutely love it. So coyotes, gray fox. I would love to catch a gray fox. That's something I'll probably never have on my wall just because I don't put anything on my wall that I don't catch. But I would love to have one of those on my wall. I've never seen one, never had a trail cam picture of them. I run quite a few trail cams in the summer for deer and stuff, so definitely not a lot around, but I'm sure you guys got some really pretty cats out west out there. Didn't cost as much. I'd owned several. Yeah, I get that, Ruben. They're not cheap. It was a pretty big commitment for me, but basically, a buddy of mine said, if you don't like it, I'll take it from you. So I ended up getting it, and he's not getting it. I'm keeping it. I like it. So sell your raccoon skulls, and if so, does the pellet. David, I sell all my raccoon skulls that are either 220'd or drowned or something else, but not the ones that I shoot. The only reason I shoot them, and this also has to do a lot with why I let possums go, is because I don't have a possum market, for one. But for two, for me to kill every single possum, or for me to try and not shoot every coon in the head, it's just a time thing. And when I'm going really hard, shooting a coon in the head is so fast. Literally shoot them, take them out of the trap, put the trap back in the ground, rebait it, throw the coon in the truck, keep going. Well, if I did that for every possum, instead of just letting them go, that's adding 10 or 15 seconds. Say I catch 30 or 40 possums. I mean, it's a good amount of time that I'm saving just not doing anything with the possums. If I had a market, I would keep them, but I don't. So Goosenecker 600, was there much of a learning curve? Mark, really, I would say there was about a 10 to 20 raccoon learning curve. That was about what it took me before I like really started figuring it out. And then after I did about 100 or so coon with it, I just decided I'm never going back. Um, but yeah, even just learning how to use a fleshing knife in general, there's always some sort of learning curve. So a little bit of a learning curve, but with how much I've fleshed it, I think it went a lot faster. But it was good. I love it. PA Trappin', how you doing? Red-handled weaving knife. Holy cow, that thing is razor sharp. Really? Are you talking a skinning knife or a fleshing knife? I guess I don't know. I own a Walmart knife for skinning, so I don't really know about all the fancy ones. But Vermont Quail, how you doing? Really, Flintlock? I know. I guess I can't say an exact number. I'd say I get 4 or 5 beaver done before I got to sharpen. Usually, because I'll sit down and do 10 or 12 beaver if I'm gonna flesh beaver. So, and I usually only sharpen up like once, like halfway through. But I also tend to use the dull side quite a lot on my beaver around the belly area, especially. I use the dull side as much as I can. So I don't know. Mine really doesn't dull up that much. There. Hopefully you guys can see me again. I just totally glitched out there for a second. Yep, Ruben, I use the dull side as much as I can too. Flintlock, am I back, man? I hope I'm back. Not very tech savvy. I don't really know what's going on. It looks on my computer like it's working, hopefully. I don't know. The school internet actually is not really the best, but. Okay, good, good. Thank you, Flintlock. I'm glad that I'm back. So what is everyone trapping then? Are we all rolling now? I know I have nothing said. I will tomorrow, but I don't know how everyone's all the states that are running or when their seasons open up. But I know over in Illinois it's like 10 days after us or whatever. But it's gonna be a good year, guys. I couldn't be on Wednesday morning. Awesome, Mark. I hope you go out there and smoke them, man. I really do. Did your doctor clear you for that, or are you just saying screw it and going for it? Either way, I fully support you. My doctor wasn't very happy with me when I had no ACL and I was still out there walking in ditches. So, not sure of the legalities, but I've got a few. You know what, Travis? That's fair. You know what? It is what it is. Vermont, I'm hoping I'm gonna have quite a few videos coming out here soon. I know for sure over Christmas break when I have that month off, I'm gonna try and do a whole bunch of first shed videos. I got a lot of stuff saved on the carcass. I got beaver, skunk, muskrats, and raccoon all on the carcass. So we're gonna do a lot of skin and stuff. Hopefully, maybe some flesh and stuff. I don't know, but I love flesh and coon. A lot of guys give me grief about catching all them coon. That's gonna suck to scrape, and I love scraping coon. I mean, there was one time I did a bunch of coon for a guy. I did like 100 coon in 2 days, or like 2.5 days or something. I just love scraping coon. So I wish they were worth a little bit more than what they are, but I still just love scraping coon. So, Rich, I do mainly target raccoons. I will say if there's a market for coyotes, I'll trap coyotes pretty hard. My buddy actually just got a thermal, so I think we might end up trying that out here before too long. But I love trapping raccoons. I also love trapping beaver though. Raccoon and beaver are my two big things. I absolutely love both of them. Kyle, what are your fur numbers so far? Oh, shoot. I'm at 621 raccoon, 11 beaver, 7 muskrats, and a fox, and 24 skunks. So definitely happy about the skunk number, that's for sure. Midwestern Trapper, how you doing? Vermont, will do, buddy. Here tomorrow, I'm probably gonna film myself setting that stuff out that I got pre-staked. So, and then we'll start adding on at the end of it too. We'll see how far I get along, but just started to flash. It always sold green before. Any pointers for a beginner? Oh boy, I'm getting behind here. Any pointers for a beginner? I would say be patient with it. You're going to end up cutting holes. I know it took me 40 or 50 coon before I had one without a hole. Boy, was I proud when I did that. But I just say take your time with it. You know, everyone makes a mistake doing it. Try not to get frustrated with it and just do what you can, because I promise you, when you can finish out your fur and look at the finished product, you're going to absolutely love the accomplished feeling that you get from finishing your own fur. It's just awesome. So, favorite, not most profitable thing to trap? Raccoons. Love trapping raccoons. Raccoons and beaver. Definitely love trapping muskrats too, but we don't have many of them around. First year, I'm curious if it smells when you're stretching skins. Thomas, it really doesn't smell all that bad when you're stretching them. It's more the skinning process, I would say. But yeah, I don't think actually stretching and drying them smells all that bad. Now, if you don't get the fat out of your fat bin or whatever from fleshing in a hurry, like within a day or say, depending on the temperature of where you're fleshing them at, then it might start to smell. But if you get that out of there, it's really not going to smell all that bad. Mark, I'm glad you're excited. Kyle, glad you guys are excited for the first shed videos. We'll see how it goes. I got a little deal for my GoPro. I'm gonna try and get it set up in there so I can show you guys some good angles. But we'll see. I'm gonna definitely do some. I just gotta figure out how I want to do it. Yeah, Outdoor 365. Don't give up. You're gonna ruin something. That's just how it is. Everyone did when they started. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But it's all right. Do a video on extracting the essence. Rich, this will actually be my first year extracting essence. I got so far behind last year, I ended up selling carcass skunks. So I might do a video on it, just me learning how to do it while you guys watch me fail. Maybe I'll do that. But we'll be extracting some essence this year. I'm pretty firm on that. I don't want to get rid of them unless I absolutely have to. And I got plenty of freezer room this year. So we'll be extracting some essence. I might video it. Truck's going in shop for water pump. Had to pull my line, probably good, so I can catch up in the first shed. Midwestern Trapper, I feel that 100%. I'm still way behind in the first shed as well. Got all my skinning done and stuff for the most part. Just some stuff frozen on the carcass, but full freezers and empty stretchers are no bueno. Oh, I would say empty stretchers is a no bueno. I'd agree with that, but my freezer's not full. I do love looking at freezers full of fur, though. I will say that. But yeah, if you run out of freezer room like I did last year, you can go into a real panic mode in a hurry. You can get in a real bad pinch. I dealt with that last year. Embarrassed to admit I've missed a few beaver this year. Snap footholds and 2 snap 330s. Really, Flintlock. Are you sure that the 330s were from beaver? I know, especially in my 330 trap, and I'll have muskrats just wreak havoc on them. But I don't really. Only really weird beaver deal that I had in a 330 was I caught one by the back leg, which I think he actually swum up to it, looked at it, and was trap smart because he was a 3-legged beaver too. So he swam up, saw the trap, and turned around, and when he kicked to go away, he set off those triggers with the amount of water that he pushed back, and it got him by the back leg, and he was laying there drowned underneath the ice. But it was quite interesting seeing one caught by the leg like that. As far as footholds, you know, it all depends. I mean, beaver will snap them off, coon will snap them off. It is what it is, you know. I catch too many coon in my beaver sets, but in the fall, I'm fine with it. What do you use your raccoon for? What do I use for raccoons? Cat food. So I use cat food mixed with pure anise in all my dog proofs. I feel like it has more of an attraction to it if I add that pure anise smell in it. It's really strong smelling. And I set underneath a lot of bridges, as you guys see, where the coon are kind of just walking everywhere. So I like having a little extra smell. You can catch them in just cat food, and I've done it a lot of times before with just cat food. But the pure anise just makes me feel better, and having confidence in your sets is keys. And I absolutely love the pure anise. It makes me feel really good about it. So that's what I do. Stinky fat bits of spots. Pack them up, put them in the freezer. Yeah, yeah. Just make sure you don't let that fat sit there when you're fleshing. You'll be all right. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Uh, I'm Vermont quail. I'm from Iowa. Um, quite a ways from Vermont. That's for sure. It's funny you say Vermont quail though. I actually in a video the other day I tried to show you guys them quail. That was the first cubby of quail I'd ever seen before. There was like 10 of them, and I was on my way back to school last night, and I saw another group of quail, and there was literally like 20 quail in the middle of the highway. So I missed them. I missed them all, but kind of crazy how I start doing YouTube and there's a guy named Vermont quail, and I just start seeing quail. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, possibly muskrats setting off 330s. I know I've caught a couple like by the tail or something in my 330s before. I've caught muskrats and TS 85s too, which is always interesting. I don't even know how they set off the trap most of the time, but yeah, outdoor 365. 220s are nice. I don't know what the rules are down there, but I love using 220s. Yeah, and I tried setting front catch with my MB 750. Man, I'm struggling. Okay, Flintlock. So if you're setting for front foot, how deep of water are you setting it in? Because if you're having snapped off traps, I would recommend take that trap if you're going strictly for a beaver and sink it in 6 or 8 inches of water and set it like a foot and a half back from the trap and hammer them by the back leg. You won't have any non-target snapping off a trap in that deep of water. It'll only be beaver. That's how I trap them. I like getting in deep water, and a 3 or 4X coon's still going to get stuck in there, but that's what I do. Try and set it deeper just for the beaver. I'm betting you got some coon playing with you or something. That happens to me a lot too. Awesome, Midwestern Trapper. $155 is the biggest. Yeah, I don't even know how well that would do it taking down a raccoon. I don't know. I don't know what it's like to use a conibear other than a 220. I know I've heard things about, is it the 160? I've heard guys have some success with coon. There's some guys that like them over a 220 for coon because it gets them right behind the head. But I don't usually have any problems with a 220 getting them behind the head either. Yeah, belly fur too. It could be that. It all just depends. I know if I'm doing a front foot for a beaver, I want that TS 85, the actual pan of that trap, to probably be under at least 3 inches of water, maybe more for a front foot. So it all just depends. Which is your favorite trap? That's a tough one. Closed or offset. I don't run any offset traps. I've heard a lot of things about closed and offset and the argument and all that stuff. I use dog proofs. I use 1.5s, which are not offset, and I use 220s, and my TS 85s are a closed draw trap, I guess. So I guess I prefer those for a beaver. But I've heard a lot of different things about the actual lockup of the offset traps. And I have some coyote traps now that I'm going to try here, maybe this winter. to see if I like the offset better. They're Duke 550s, I think. I think they're Duke 550s, but I'm going to give them a try here and see if I like them better or not. I've never really tried the offset traps before, so. Back foot, sloping bank, couldn't find out how to set deep. Under 2 inches of water, front foot. I bet you're getting belly for a flintlock. I really do. I say this because I had a crick last fall that I was trying to catch some beaver out of. There's a big dam in there, and it was right on the edge of the right-of-way. So I tried putting some caster mounds in on the dam there, and we can't rip holes in the dam. You can't damage the dam at all. So I went down there and I put 2 caster mounds right on the dam. It wasn't really a caster mound. You guys have seen my caster mounds. It's not really a caster mound. It's just a stick with lure. But it was just a really sloping thing like that, and I missed like 3 or 4 beaver, and I got really mad. So I actually called the landowner and got permission and went up in there just to avoid that. I really don't like trapping those really shallow sloping banks like that. It's really hard without having them set your trap off. So foothold and front foot, always set my hand on the bottom flat. Yep, Midwestern trapper. Yep. I used to trap for front foot too. I used to only have Duke number 4s. That was all that I had for beaver trapping before I bought a bunch of 85s, and I used to front foot them too with those. And front footing them works really good. All right, we'll catch you later, Iowa trapper. Do you Midwestern? Yeah, I've heard a lot of guys talk about offset traps for coyotes just for that extra lockup. And personally, I'm not a coyote trapper. The most I've caught in a year was 18, but and I just use Duke number 4s and Duke number 3s for them. But I'm going to try out the offset this year just to see how I like it, just so I can have an opinion on it. We'll see. Everything Outdoors Michigan, how you doing? Run long chain or cables for your beaver. I've been having luck with them. Trying to catch back foot. Outdoor 365, I do not run long cable. Wow, that was bad. Long chain or cable. I run all rebar drowners. I got a lot of videos from last spring. If you want to see how I beaver trap, they're up on my YouTube channel here. But I run all rebar drowners for beaver. Reason being, a lot of guys I know there's the methods now, long chain and holding them alive. I personally want to drown them. I think I can harvest more beaver drowning them, and I also don't have to check them every day if the set is going to drown the animal, which all of mine are in the spring especially. So I can run more traps if they're on drowners, and I can also still go to class if I choose to when I'm beaver trapping if they're on drowners. So. All right, we'll see you later, Travis. Thanks for stopping in, man. PA, are you talking about beaver trapping or coyotes here? Sorry, I'm kind of confused with the offset trap and then the coyotes and then the beaver traps and everything else. So what species are you going? I know Duke number 4s work really good for coyotes. I love using Duke number 4s for coyotes. Yeah, crusty. And what sums it up, trap's a trap. They all catch stuff. I have my personal favorites. I think every other trapper has their personal favorites. So, beaver with a front foot on a drown set. Yep, I used to do a lot of that. I started with the TS85. I strictly go for hind foot catches, and I'll tell you guys why. So that TS85 is such a large trap. I mean, if you guys have them, I mean, they're ginormous. And if you get them by a back foot, if you get them above their ankle, they are going absolutely nowhere in that TS85. There's no way. But if you get them in that front foot, there's enough room in that trap, or even a beaver with their big old head can get down there, and I've lost some beaver in a front foot if you can't get them drowned immediately. If you get them drowned immediately, you're sitting fine. But if you can't get them drowned immediately on a front foot catch in a big trap like TS-85, you're going to lose some beaver. And that's just how it is. And I hate losing them. That's why I target my back foot catches. Coyote day on my short line till I had to pull. Set my better properties once my truck. Yeah, Midwestern. Coyote day. Hey, that's a good day. Coyote day's a good day, man. I would not be complaining about that if I caught one coyote a week. But I don't know. I haven't coyote trapped in a while. I didn't coyote trap at all last year. There was no market for them. So I just didn't trap them. But oh, okay, PA. I know we got some rules like that too, but if it's underwater, we have different rules. So but yeah, those number 4s, they'll hold a beaver. No problem. Really, Flintlock? Now you're talking about something that I'm really interested in. I've heard a lot of different things about these fiberglass drowning rods. And I've been told that I should try them. I was told I'm going to hate them. I don't know, but it's interesting to see that you have hard pushing them into rocky or hard cricks. How do they... Here's what I'm curious about. So I use rebar. I mean, it's nice, rigid rebar. It's got that pattern on it or whatever. And I think that it allows me to hold more beaver from getting the bottom of my drowning rod out because it's got that rigid pattern on it to where it's actually gripping the bottom more. So I think that that smooth fiberglass, I think that it wouldn't actually hold as well in the bottom. I could be totally wrong, but that's my theory on it and why I'm really hesitant to try it. Just because the way I run my beaver sets, they all have to be drowned. Otherwise, I'm making illegal sets, and I don't want to do that. So, interesting. I've been told to try them. I just got so many things thinking that I use to think about them, and I don't know how they can be better than rebar, other than they're a lot lighter. Yeah, 1 3/4 and a number 2. That'll hold a coyote all day. I know. I watched it here at the Iowa trapping convention here. I watched a guy, he's a big coyote trapper right here in Iowa. And all he used is a 1 3/4 trap. That was all he ever used. So it'll definitely work. I've held coyotes in 1 1/2s before. Large trap MB550 with offset jaws. I would say if you tried to front foot a beaver with an MB550, you could do it. I wouldn't say it's the best trap by choice, but I bet you could catch one and hold one with it. Hags fiberglass drowners, haven't used them. Love the idea of being able to take your trap right off the rod. See, I do like that idea too, is taking that trap right off the end there. The only deal is I use, what is it? I use all 1/2-inch rebar, and I think you can only use a 3/8-inch rebar stake to run through the top of those Hags systems. And I don't like that idea. If I'm not using 1/2-inch rebar, I don't want to use it. And especially a 3/8-inch rebar is just too thin, in my opinion. I'm sure it works. I know there's a lot of guys that catch a lot of beaver with it, but as far as beaver trapping, I want something heavy. Beaver's a big, heavy animal, and I want something big and heavy to hold him down. But it is a very slick idea. I've really thought about coming up with something that I can do for my rebar drowners where I can slide them off like that. But for now, I just attach all my traps with a J-hook, use my J-hook tool, pop them off, put them on. It doesn't take that much longer. Caught your first coyote. Awesome, man. On a 1 3/4, yep. Yeah, 30 pounds. That's a nice coyote too, especially for a female. That's a nice coyote. It's quick links for my Hags locks. Yeah, I know. I've played with the quick links a little bit. Are you talking about the ones with the little screw-on thing? Oh, they're kind of like an oval. I've played with them a little bit, and to be honest with you, which this is totally probably a me problem, but to be honest, I don't like them because after 2 years, mine rusted up, and I had to use pliers to get them off. And at that point, I just decided if I got to use pliers to open and close this, I might as well just use a J-hook tool. So that's what I do now. I just use the J-hook tool and a J-hook, and that's how I attach my traps. Coyote Trapper one. PA Trapping, it wasn't a Bridger or a Duke. It was a company that went out of business. I don't know. He was just selling all of his traps. I don't remember what they were called. I don't know what the brand name is. It's not a common or like current thing. Like his traps are over 40 years old, I think. So it's an older deal, but that's all he used for coyote trapping, and he hammered them too. Stakes get jacked. They do. Midwestern Trapper, they do. That's why I stress using that big stake. Some of my stakes get messed up pretty good. And I think if I were to use an even smaller stake yet, I think I'd be in trouble in a lot of places. Personally, I wish I could use like a 100-pound boat anchor to just hold the beavers down. Some of them suckers are so tough. As you guys know, they're tough animals. They're strong animals too. So what I've experienced so far, fiberglass, almost impossible to push in a hard bottom creek. When I did catch a beaver, I could hardly pull. Really? I wonder if it has to do with like the microfibers then in that fiberglass. I wonder. I bet it has something to do with that and why it's so hard. Interesting. I don't know. I've never tried them, but that is interesting. Hard to push in and hard to pull out. That doesn't seem very convenient, but it is what it is. I know it doesn't matter what you use. If you got rocks or anything, it's just going to be a pain in the rear. So beaver drove that rod deep into the creek bottom. I could barely pull it back up. Yeah. I also get to your comment there, Flintlock. I get some beaver that'll like pile up a bunch of dirt on the end of my thing when they're down there drowning. And it really makes it a pain in the rear end sometimes to get them out when they build a big pile like that. Or they dig a bowl, which that's easy. But when they put a pile like that, it gets hard. Coyote walk right past me while bow hunting within 5 feet. Wow. So put some corn to assist the deer. 15 raccoon on camera. Thomas, I do not blame you at all. I put out corn for deer when it's not deer season. We can't bait for deer here in Iowa, but I got a analogic supplement that I mix with corn, and I get a lot of raccoon pictures on it. So I definitely need to do something like you're doing and trap them coon. But baiting on using rods, use cable and chain drowners, try and save some space. That's the problem with trapping out of a canoe. Yeah. Outdoor 365, that would be hard. Trapping out of a canoe. I mean, I've trapped out of a kayak before for beaver with beaver drowning rods, and it's hard. I will say it is hard. I know 330 Maniac has a good video. He was doing some trapping out of a kayak, and he managed it really well. But it makes sense in a kayak to use cable or chain for sure. Loosen up your dog proofs for hand setting. I don't, David. I'm young and dumb. I beat the tar out of my hands. Right out of the box, they're getting a tag on them, and they're going in the ground. That's just how I do them. I don't do anything to them at all other than tag them and put a pogo on them. It could have been Northwest. I really wish I knew what it was. It was a while ago, but he's an old trapper. He's getting out of it now, but he is a very good trapper too. J-hook stronger. I'm just setting its system. Mark, I wouldn't say J-hooks are stronger than a quick link. I mean, quick links work great. They work great. Just to me, by the time they got rusted up and stuff, the J-hook was faster on my beaver drowner than those quick links once they got corroded. So that's why I went with the J-hook. Justin Steins, thanks, bud. Nice to see you in here. I'm getting ready to use that beaver trough. I got about 11 beavers so far along my coon line here. So there'll be a video out before too long of me giving that thing a test. I'm pretty hard on stuff, so we'll see. Midwestern Trapper, thanks for stopping in, man. We'll for sure be doing some first shed videos here before too long. So good luck, be safe, and have fun this season, man. Thomas, my tip for first beaver trapper, first time beaver trapping, it all depends. I mean, what do you have to use for a trap? Either go for a front foot or go for a back foot, but definitely pick one you want to go for. You can go for a front foot, offset it just a little bit of depth of water, all that stuff. But as far as lure, I swear by Dunlap's Big Pile Lure. When I started beaver trapping, I struggled with it a little bit. I tried some different lures, and once I switched over to Big Pile, I started just, I mean, piling beaver. I love Big Pile. I don't know what's in it. I don't really care. It works really good for me, and I swear by it. So that's the lure that I would recommend to anyone who's trying to beaver trap. Justin, I will beat the heck out of it. I promise. Heck, when I was putting it on my wall, a deer antler fell off of my ceiling and almost took me out. That was kind of interesting. I have not, Justin, simply because I love Big Pile. I don't really want to change. I really should. Tell you what, if I was trapping beaver on private ground and someone wanted me to get beaver out of there, I would probably try some other stuff just if I accidentally educated a beaver. But as far as trapping beaver in the road ditch, I don't miss many, but the few that I do miss, the odds of them even still being there next year are pretty slim, and I don't think they're going to recognize the lure once they get there again next year. So I just swear by Big Pile, but I also trap 150 miles on my beaver line in the road ditches. So I should probably try and diversify myself a little bit, but I love the Big Pile. Big Pile is a caster lure. I think it's a caster and somewhat of a food lure too. I'm not sure. It's got a bunch of different stuff in it, but it smells really good. And I love using it for beaver. Otter Cat, how are you doing, man? Try Bearded Man's Beaver Lure. I've heard a lot of good things about Bearded Man Beaver Lure, and I learned a lot from 330 Maniacs videos. That's actually how I got into beaver trapping, was him, and I know he's using it now, so I really want to try it. I know he talks a lot of good things about it, and I really want to try it, but for now, I get Big Pile. It's going to end up being a price thing eventually is what it's going to be, but for now, I got the Big Pile still, so I'm going to use it. And another thing about the Big Pile, too, I will say, is I don't use that much lure. And lure's expensive. I mean, you guys know it is expensive. But I caught 108 beaver last year and only burned through 3 jars of Big Pile. So I really didn't have that much lure cost at all. But yeah, just something kind of interesting too. It goes a long ways. It really sticks on sticks and stuff when you're baiting your caster mount. So that's why I love Big Pile. Yeah. Yeah, Ruben, you use Big Pile too. Yeah, I love it. PA trapping. I know my numbers doubled when I use Bearded Man. Interesting. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've never heard a bad thing about Bearded Man, I will say. So I need to give it a try sometime here. David, I did not. We don't have to. I know they're starting to offer more and more like intro to trapping courses and stuff that we're very lucky here in Iowa. We got some very generous trappers that will basically host these events, and they're teaching people all about trapping. They're getting more people into the trapping industry, and it's awesome. But as far as getting my license here in Iowa, it's not required. Thomas, I'm not planning to make my own caster. I buy my own lure. Mainly, I would make my own lure for beaver trapping if caster wasn't worth so darn much. That's the only reason I don't do it. Caster's worth a good amount of money, and I sell it. Mark, I think you buy Bearded Man off of Facebook. I'm not sure on that, but I think you got to message the guy on Facebook. David, yeah, Trapper's Ed. I know there's a couple states like that. We're just not like that here in Iowa. My Trapper's Ed was my dad teaching me how to make a blind set, and I went from there. So, and then I watched a lot of YouTube. But I don't know. I suppose, guys, I got homework to do, and it's 8 o'clock already. So I appreciate everyone stopping in. The channel's growing like crazy, and I really appreciate everyone's support. Just a college kid living the dream, man, is all it is. I love to trap. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to actually start doing homework now. I need to stop procrastinating. So thank you guys for stopping in here. I appreciate you stopping in, and we'll see y'all on the next one. For sure. We're going to be doing some more of these here soon. So we'll be getting out of here if I can figure out how to shut this off. Oh boy, I don't know if I can figure out how to shut it off. Let's see. See if I can figure this out here. All right, guys, I'll see y'all later. Thanks for stopping in.